The massive command center of the Galactic Council stretched across 3 levels, filled with representatives from 100 different species. Admiral Crix, a tall reptilian commander with silver scales, stood before the main viewing screen. His 4 eyes narrowed as he studied the data streaming across the display. "What do you mean the humans refused?" Crix asked, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. Ambassador Vel, a blue-skinned diplomat with flowing tentacles for hair, shifted nervously. "They said our terms were unacceptable, Admiral. They demand the immediate release of their colony ship. The Council had intercepted a human vessel 3 cycles ago. It was a simple colony ship carrying 10,000 sleeping humans to a new world. According to galactic law, any vessel passing through Council space without proper authorization was subject to detention and inspection. The humans had been given standard terms: submit to Council authority, pay the required fees, and wait for processing. It usually took 50 cycles to complete. They are a young species," noted Elder Tam, whose crystalline body hummed with each word. "Only achieved faster than light travel 200 years ago. They should be grateful. We even acknowledge them." Crix nodded. The Galactic Council had ruled supreme for 10,000 years. They controlled the major trade routes, the best planets, and most importantly, they possessed the largest fleet in known space. No species dared challenge them. The Council's 1,000 battleships had crushed every rebellion, every uprising, every fool who thought they could stand against galactic order. A junior officer suddenly stood up from his station, his green skin pale with fear. "Admiral, we're detecting a massive subspace distortion heading our way." "Size?" Crix asked, unconcerned. "Probably another trader trying to skip inspection." "Sir, it's impossible. The readings must be wrong." Crix walked over to the station, his heavy footsteps echoing through the chamber. He looked at the screen, and his blood turned cold. The object approaching them was enormous. Larger than their biggest station, larger than anything that should be able to move through space. "Distance?" he whispered. 2 light years and closing. "Sir, at its current speed, it will arrive in 6 hours." The main screen flickered to life, showing a message from Earth's United Defense Force. A human appeared, wearing a simple black uniform. He looked tired but determined. "Galactic Council, this is Admiral Jones of the UDF Thunderstrike. You have 1 hour to release our people. We've tried diplomacy. We've tried patience. Now you'll learn why humans survived on a death world for 200,000 years. You think your 1,000 ships make you strong? We built something special just for bullies like you." The transmission ended. The council chamber erupted in laughter. "1 ship?" Elder Tam chuckled, his crystal form vibrating with amusement. "They send 1 ship against our 1,000? But Crix wasn't laughing. He was reading the energy signatures. The power output from that single vessel was unlike anything in their database. It wasn't just big. It was generating more energy than a small star. "All ships to battle positions," he ordered. "Admiral, surely you're not worried about 1 human vessel?" Vel asked. Crix turned to face the assembly. "Have any of you studied human history?" Blank stares met his question. They once fought a war where they dropped nuclear weapons on their own planet. They poisoned their own air to build machines. They nearly destroyed their world 3 times and survived each time. When they reached space, they didn't explore peacefully like most species. They prepared for war. Because humans always prepare for war. The lights in the command center dimmed as every available power unit was redirected to sensors and weapons. On the main screen, long-range scanners finally got a clear image of what was approaching. The UDF Thunderstrike was death incarnate. A kilometer-wide sphere of black metal bristling with weapons that defied classification. It wasn't elegant like council ships. It was brutal, functional, and absolutely terrifying. and it was accelerating. "Sir," the junior officer's voice cracked. "I'm reading over 10,000 weapon systems on that thing, and ... Sir, it's not slowing down." Admiral Crix felt something he hadn't experienced in 300 years of military service. Fear. Asterisk. The Galactic Council's mighty fleet formed a defensive wall in space. 1,000 sleek battleships, each one a masterpiece of military engineering, arranged in perfect formation. They had faced pirates, rebels, and entire civilizations with this fleet. Never had they lost. Admiral Crix stood on the bridge of the flagship Supremacy, watching the human Dreadnought approach on the main screen. The thing didn't look like it should even fly. It was a massive sphere of black metal, covered in bumps, and ridges that turned out to be weapon turrets. Thousands upon thousands of them. "Open communications," Crix ordered. The screen flickered, showing the interior of the human ship. Admiral Jones stood in what looked like a primitive command center. No fancy holographics, no elegant displays. Just solid metal and basic screens. But every human visible was calm, focused, ready. "Admiral Jones, I am Admiral Crix of the Galactic Council. Your vessel is impressive, but you face the combined might of 1,000 warships. Surely we can reach a peaceful solution." Jones smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "We offered peace. You took our colony ship. You have 45 minutes to release them." "Be reasonable," Crix said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Your one ship, no matter how large, cannot defeat our entire fleet. You'll be starting a war. Humanity cannot win." "Cannot win?" Jones laughed. "Admiral Crix, do you know what humans call a situation where we're outnumbered 1,000 to 1? Crix remained silent. "Tuesday," Jones said. "We call it Tuesday. You think this is our only Dreadnought? This is just the one we could get here fastest. There are 12 more being fueled up right now. And if those aren't enough, we'll build 100 more. We'll build 1,000 if we have to." Elder Tam's voice came through the fleet communication system. "All ships, prepare to fire on my command. Show these primitives the price of defying the Council." Jones shook his head. "You're about to make a terrible mistake. Let me show you something." He nodded to someone off-screen. The human dreadnoughts. Surface began to change. Panels slid open across its entire hull. Weapons emerged. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. Energy weapons, projectile launchers, missile tubes, and things the Council's computers couldn't even identify. "Our ship has 10,462 weapon systems," Jones said calmly. "Each one can target. Independently, we can engage your entire fleet simultaneously. But here's the really fun part. This isn't even our main weapon." "Main weapon?" Crix felt his scales turn pale. "The sphere design isn't for aesthetics, Admiral. The entire ship is built around a single weapon at its core. We call it the Star Crusher. It's a gravity weapon that can create a temporary black hole. We've only tested it twice. Both times we deleted a moon. The Council fleet's sensors went crazy. The energy building up inside the human ship was approaching levels that shouldn't be possible. It was like watching a star preparing to go supernova." "You're bluffing," Elder Tam announced over the communications. "No species could build such a weapon." "No peaceful species would build such a weapon," Jones corrected. "But humans aren't peaceful. We're nice. There's a difference. We choose to be nice. But when someone threatens our people, when someone takes our families, we stop being nice. And then we become what we really are." "Which is?" Crix asked, though he dreaded the answer. "The apex predators of a deathworld. A species that looked at splitting atoms and thought weapon. A species that saw the vacuum of space and thought challenge accepted. We're the species that every other predator on our planet learned to fear. And now you've taken our children." "Lieutenant." Max, a young officer on the Supremacy, spoke up. "Admiral, I'm detecting more subspace distortions. Multiple contacts." On the screen, Jones smiled again. "Oh, did I mention?" The other dreadnoughts decided not to wait. They're coming too. 30 minutes, Admiral Crix. Release our people or learn why humans put war in our species' first star map. The transmission cut off. Crix looked at his tactical display. 3 more massive signatures were approaching, each one as large as the first. The Council fleet, for all its 1,000 ships, suddenly looked very, very small. "Admiral," Vel said. Quietly, "Perhaps we should reconsider." Crix stared at the human dreadnought. In 1,000 years of Council dominance, no one had ever stood up to them like this. But then again, in 1,000 years, they'd never met humans. Asterisk. 20 minutes remained on the human ultimatum. The Council fleet held its position, a magnificent wall of silver and gold ships stretching across space. But there was tension now. Fear. The kind that comes when predators realize they might be prey. Admiral Crix paced the bridge of the Supremacy. His officers worked at their stations, but he could smell their anxiety. 3 more human dreadnoughts had dropped out of subspace, each one identical to the first. 4 spheres of death, waiting. Admiral, Commander Lore, his tactical officer, spoke up. "The humans are broadcasting something on all frequencies. Put it through." Instead of Admiral Jones, a younger human appeared on screen. She wore the same black uniform, but with different insignia. "Galactic Council Fleet. I am Captain Rodriguez of the UDF Iron Will. Admiral Jones wanted me to give you a demonstration. You seem to think we're bluffing about our capabilities. We're not. Observe." The transmission switched to an external view. In the distance, a dead moon floated in space, a barren rock about 3,000 kilometers in diameter. It had been used for Council weapons testing for centuries, its surface scarred by countless explosions. One of the human dreadnoughts turned toward it. The sphere began to rotate, its entire surface starting to glow with an eerie blue light. Energy readings on every Council ship spiked beyond maximum. "That's impossible." Elder Tam's voice crackled over the fleet cum. "No ship can generate that. Much power." The human dreadnought fired dot. It wasn't a beam. It wasn't a projectile. It was a distortion in space itself, a ripple of pure gravitational force that rushed toward the moon. When it hit, reality seemed to break. The moon didn't explode. It crumpled. 3,000 kilometers of solid rock compressed into a ball the size of a city in less than 3 seconds. Then it shattered, sending continent-sized chunks spinning into the void. The Council fleet was silent. 1,000 ships, 1,000,000 crew members, and not one voice spoke. Captain Rodriguez appeared back on screen. "That was at 20% power. At full power, we can create a temporary singularity that would swallow half your fleet before it dissipated. Each of our dreadnoughts has this weapon. We have 4 here. 8 more are on the way. Do the math." Crix's second in command, a 4-armed insectoid named Zek, chittered nervously. "Admiral, their colony ship had 10,000 civilians. Are they really willing to start a galactic war over so few?" Before Crix could answer, Admiral Jones appeared on screen again. He looked older somehow, tired but resolved. "Admiral Crix, you're probably wondering if we're crazy, threatening the Galactic Council over 1 colony ship. Let me tell you something about humans. We once fought a war that killed millions over the assassination of 1 man. We've gone to war over insults, over trade routes, over lines on maps that don't even exist anymore. But you know what really makes us fight? When someone takes our family." Jones gestured to someone off-screen. A new image appeared, the colony ship held in the Council's impound station. Those 10,000 people aren't just colonists to us. They're sons and daughters, mothers and fathers. They're our future. And humans have this saying, never get between a human and their family, because we'll burn the galaxy down to get them back. Elder Tam's crystalline form appeared on the main screen, addressing the entire fleet. This is absurd. They cannot threaten the established order of 10,000 years. All ships, prepare to... He never finished. Every human dreadnought moved. At once, their surfaces opening to reveal their full weapon complements. Targeting lasers painted every single Council ship simultaneously. The message was clear. Make one aggressive move, and they'd all fire. 15 minutes, Jones said calmly. I should mention, we've been very patient. Our military wanted to come in shooting. Our government insisted on trying diplomacy first. But humans have another saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. We've spoken softly. Now you're looking at our stick. Lieutenant Max on the Supremacy was running calculations. Admiral, if my math is correct, each dreadnought could engage and destroy 300 of our ships in the first volley. We'd lose the entire fleet in under a minute. Crix looked at the 4 spheres of death surrounding his fleet. The pride of the Galactic Council reduced to targets in a shooting gallery. But it wasn't just about military might. It was about what these humans represented. A species that wouldn't bow, wouldn't break, wouldn't accept the order of things. Species that built doomsday weapons to rescue 10,000 people. 10 minutes remained. The council chamber on the Supremacy was in chaos. Representatives from 100 species argued, shouted, and debated. Some wanted to fight, others to surrender, and still others refused to believe what they were seeing. Admiral Crix stood at the center of it all, watching the tactical display. The 4 human dreadnoughts had positioned themselves at perfect angles. No matter how his fleet moved, they'd be caught in overlapping fields of fire. It was a tactical masterpiece, executed with brutal simplicity. We cannot yield to these primitives. Elder Tam's voice rang out above the chaos. If we show weakness now, every minor species will challenge us. They destroyed a moon with one shot, countered Ambassador Vell. This isn't showing weakness. It's preventing annihilation. A new voice cut through the argument. On the main screen, a different human appeared. This one was older, wearing civilian clothes rather than military uniform. Members of the Galactic Council, I am President Shun of Earth's United Government. I've been monitoring this situation, and I wanted to speak with you directly. The council fell silent. You've ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years, the president continued. In that time, you've brought order, established trade, prevented countless wars. We respect that. We don't want to destroy what you've built. But you need to understand something about humanity. She paused, choosing her words carefully. We spent 200,000 years on a world trying to kill us. Everything on Earth evolved to be lethal. The weather, the animals, the plants, even the bacteria. We survived by being more dangerous than everything else. But we also survived by working together, by protecting our tribe, our family, our species. That dual nature, utterly ruthless and completely loyal, that's what makes us human. Your point? Elder Tam asked coldly. My point is that we can be your greatest allies or your worst nightmare. Release our people, and we'll withdraw. Continue. Holding them, and you'll learn why Earth's children conquered a death world. And Elder Tam? If you think 4 dreadnoughts are impressive, you should know we have shipyards working around the clock. We can build one of these every month now. How many can you build? The implications hit the council like a physical blow. The humans weren't just powerful. They were industrial. They could mass-produce these monsters. Commander Lore pulled Crix aside. Admiral, I've been analyzing their technology. It's crude but effective. They use brute force where we use elegance. But sir, it works. Their shields are just layers upon layers of energy. Their weapons are just bigger versions of standard designs. It's like they looked at Galactic's standard technology and asked, what if we made it 1,000 times bigger? And it worked, Crix muttered. 5 minutes remained. Admiral Jones appeared on screen again. Council, I'm going to be completely honest with you. We don't want this fight. Win or lose, millions will die. Worlds will burn. Trade will collapse. Everyone suffers. But if you force us to choose between economic prosperity and our people, we'll choose our people every single time. We'll fight you with these 4 ships. If that's not enough, we'll come back with 40. If that's not enough, we'll come back with 400. We'll keep coming until we get our people back, or one of us is extinct. You're insane, Elder Tam said. No, Jones replied. We're human. There's a difference. Insane species destroy themselves. Humans destroy everything else, then build something better on the ashes. We've done it to our own world 3 times. We're very good at it. A junior officer on the Supremacy suddenly stood up. Admiral, the impound station is reporting that they're preparing to release the human colony ship. What? Crix spun around. Who gave that order? On the screen, Governor Pox of the impound station appeared. The elderly administrator looked terrified. Admiral Crix, I'm releasing the humans. I have 50,000 civilians on this station. I won't have their deaths. On my conscience, you don't have the authority. Elder Tam roared. I don't care, Pox replied. I've studied human history in the last hour. They dropped nuclear weapons on their own cities to win wars. They poisoned their own atmosphere to power their industry. They nearly started a nuclear war over missiles on an island. These are not rational beings. They're controlled insanity given form. I'm releasing their people. The colony ship began to move, slowly drifting away from the station toward the human dreadnoughts. One of the massive spheres opened what looked like a hangar bay, carefully guiding the smaller vessel inside. 3 minutes remained. Asterisk. The human colony ship settled safely inside the UDF Thunderstrike. 10,000 souls returned to human protection. On the bridge, Admiral Jones watched the tactical display as the rescue was confirmed. Every colonist accounted for, all unstable. Hibernation, unharmed. Colony ship secured, Captain Rodriguez reported from the Iron Will. All colonists showing green on medical scans. Jones nodded and opened a channel to the Council fleet. Admiral Crix, we have our people. As promised, we'll withdraw. But before we go, humanity has a message for the Galactic Council. The image switched to President Shun on Earth. Behind her, through a window, the blue marble of humanity's homeworld spun in space. But it wasn't alone. Hundreds of ships were visible in orbit. Some were small patrol craft. Others were clearly more dreadnoughts under construction, their spherical frames taking shape in massive orbital shipyards. Galactic Council, the President began. For 10,000 years, you've maintained order through superior firepower. That era ends today. Humanity is here now, and we play by different rules. We don't want to conquer. We don't want to rule. We just want to explore, trade, and live in peace. But if anyone threatens human lives, we will respond. She paused, letting the words sink in. We're establishing the human defense zone. Any human ship, colony, or citizen in distress can call for aid, and we will come. It doesn't matter where in the galaxy they are. It doesn't matter who threatens them. We will come. With 1 ship or 1,000, we will come. Elder Tam's crystalline form pulsed with anger. You dare dictate terms to the Galactic Council? We're not dictating anything, President Chun replied calmly. We're simply stating facts. You can accept humanity as equals, or you can test us. But know this, we've uploaded the specifications for our dreadnoughts to every human colony. We've shared the design for the Star Crusher weapon. Every human world is now building these ships. In a year, we'll have 100. In 10 years, 1,000. How long do you think your dominance will last? Admiral Crix finally spoke. What do you want? Recognition, Jones answered. A seat on the council. Fair treatment for all species, not just the powerful ones. An end to illegal seizures, like what happened to our colony ship. Basic rights, Admiral. The same things we fought for. On Earth, we'll fight for in the stars. The council chamber erupted in debate again. But Crix wasn't listening. He was watching the human dreadnoughts. 4 ships had brought the mightiest fleet in the galaxy to a standstill. Not through clever tactics or advanced technology, but through sheer, overwhelming firepower and the will to use it. I propose, Crix said loudly, silencing the chamber, that we grant humanity provisional membership in the Galactic Council. You cannot be serious, Elder Tam protested. I'm completely serious, Crix replied. Look at your screens. Look at those ships. They built those in response to us taking 1 colony vessel. What do you think they'll build if we reject them? If we make them our enemy? Ambassador Vel stepped forward. I second the proposal. Humanity has demonstrated both the power to destroy and the wisdom to show restraint. They could have attacked immediately. Instead, they tried diplomacy first. That shows wisdom. The vote was called. It wasn't unanimous. Elder Tam and his faction voted against, but it passed. Humanity would join the Galactic Council. On the screen, Admiral Jones saluted. Thank you, Admiral Crix. You've made the right choice. Our dreadnoughts will withdraw to human space. But remember, we're always watching, always ready. Humanity takes care of its own. The 4 spheres of death turned and accelerated away, disappearing into subspace, one by one. The Council fleet remained in formation, 1,000 ships that suddenly seemed much less impressive than they had an hour ago. Dot, in his private log that night. Admiral Crix would write, today the galaxy changed. Not through conquest or war, but through the arrival of a species that refuses to be conquered. The humans are not like us. They're not civilized in the way we understand it. They're something else. Something that evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day, and not only survived, but thrived. They build weapons that can destroy moons, not because they want to use them, but to ensure they never have to. They're paradoxes. Peaceful warriors, civilized savages. And now they're part of the Council. May the stars help us all. The galaxy would never be the same. Asterisk.